So in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to use the RSA Submission Portal. So to begin with, I'm just going to look up a recent quote that we did, and if we just click next through the risk screens, we'll get to the quote results screen. So you can see in this example here I have RSA Safe Home Choice quoting. So if I click next, so this will bring me into the assumptions. So assuming you've gone through the assumptions and declarations, there might be one of these assumptions that is actually answered in the negative. So there is no history of flood damage in the area. So if I actually just tick that just for this particular example, so we might say that X number of years ago there was actually a flood. So if we just tick X to that and just tick yes to the rest of the assumptions and next, it will basically tell you that this needs to be referred on. Click OK. At this particular point, if you want, you can add in a bank for an indemnity letter. So to do that, if you just click add, and you can put in your sort code or select your bank from the list here. So if you want to add in a bank, just click AIB just as an example. I can pick Blanchardstown again as an example, click OK, and you can actually add in the details and then click save. So that's just to demonstrate how to add in an interested party. If you click next, so at this stage you just need to note your alarm installer. So if you don't actually have one, you can just basically put it in test. And you can see that at the bottom here we have submit referral. So this is what we want to click on. So if I just click it here, and this opens up the post message screen. So you need to type in your message. So in this case, I'm just going to keep on the theme of the flood. So I'm just going to say that there was actually a flood in the area 20 years ago. And then we can submit that over to the RSA team. So if they click submit, saying you will not be able to modify this risk whilst the referral is pending. Are you sure you wish to continue? So just click yes, and the submission is successful. And you can see now that the status actually changes to referral submission pending. So if I actually just click in here, I'll get the option then to retrieve the latest submission or actually cancel it. So once the portal opens, you can add in your username and password in order to log on. So just a couple of points here. You can tick this box so it'll actually remember you the next time. So once you've logged in, the next time you come in here, it should remember your username and password. Also, just to remember that this particular account is connected with a particular email address. So when we actually gave you access to the portal and set up a username and password, we would have connected that with a single email address. And we would have recommended that it is a general distribution email address, something like personal lines or info at, then your domain name. So just to remember that when you are using the submission portal, you're not going to get an actual email back to yourself once RSA have actually actioned it. So that email will actually go to whatever address was allocated to the account when it was set up. So just keep that in mind if you're expecting emails back to yourself, that they won't actually come back to you directly, they'll go to that particular email address. In addition, obviously you can look up the home quote and log into the portal to retrieve the latest submission status. So you can see here when we log into the portal, we can actually see that the status is referral status submitted. So we can scroll down here and see some more information. And there's more options down the end here in terms of post message, print documents, and cancel submission. So at this particular point, what we need to do is just wait until RSA have had a chance to review the risk information and any notes that you would have included when you sent it across. So just for this example, we're just going to have a look at the other side of this. So if we just take a look at the RSA portal from their perspective, just to see how this looks. So now we're in the RSA side of the portal. So when they actually go into the portal, there's obviously a number of filters here that they can apply. But if you actually just scroll down, we can see the test case that we actually just put through there. So you can see here for applied tester, and the status is currently submitted. So if they actually just click on that, then they'll see a similar page to what you were looking at there a moment ago. So if they scroll down, they can actually see all of the information. They can note the endorsement that's on the file from untaking the assumption. And they can scroll down again to see the messages and so on and so forth. And this is basically their message center. So this is where they can accept the risk. So they can actually review the risk information by clicking into risk information here, scrolling down, and obviously they can look at the address in more details. So in addition there, they can click on the assumptions, and if they scroll down, they can actually see all the assumptions. And in this particular example, they can see, and it's highlighted in red, where the customer has said no to the fact that there's no history of flood damage in the area. So in this case, there is history of flood damage, And this is when RSA can decide to either accept or decline the risk. So at this stage, then they can just change it to accepted by scrolling down and see referral status. They can just change that to approved, and then they're good to go. So they can actually just click submit, and this will change the status to approved on their side. So let's now have a look again from the broker side in terms of looking this back up. So back on the broker side here, you can see we're back in the applied tester account, and you can see the policy status is referral submission pending. So this just indicates the last status since we last refreshed it. So what you need to do here is just click on this button, complete the confirmation process, and retrieve the latest status. Remember as well, you do have the option to cancel at any stage. So I'm going to retrieve it, and you can see now that the status has changed on my side to approved. And you can note here that the accept button is now available. So I can proceed here by clicking accept and button on cover. So for this particular example, what happens if we actually want to change the risk information? So say that the customer is happy to proceed, but at this particular late stage, they've decided they want to increase their sums insured from 300,000 up to 350,000. So you can see here it currently says 300,000. So what do we do? So what needs to happen here is the status needs to be changed from approved back to resubmit in order for you to proceed here. So what we need to do is we need to get the RSA help team to change the status from approved to resubmit. So how do we do that? So the best thing to do here is just click on post message and just type in your message. So you can see here I've typed in a message saying please change to resubmit as we want to increase the building sums insured. So I'm just going to press OK to that. And you can see here, once I actually do that, it changes the status to review required. So again, on the RSA side of things, if we just move over to their system, so you can see now the applied tester policy is there, the quote, and now the status has changed to review required. So that's an indicator on RSA's side that you have posted a message, it's put it back into pending status, and then they need to go in and take a look at it. So if we just actually open it up again from the RSA side of things and scroll down, they can actually see the messages that you have actually posted. So please change to resubmit as we want to increase the building sums insured. So assuming that's okay with RSA, they can type in a message to confirm that, or they can just simply just skip that and just change it to resubmit. So they need to change this to resubmit so that you can access the risk screen and make the change. So I'm just going to click on submit, and you can see now the status has changed to resubmit. And again, if we just go back over to the broker side of things, we will need to go back into the latest status. So if I just click here and retrieve the latest status, then you can see now that the status has changed to resubmit. And now what you can do is you can resubmit it by clicking this policy here. So what needs to happen is you click on resubmit. This will open up the risk screens, and you click next, next, and next. And I want to update the sums insured to 350,000. Click next. RSA is quoting. Next. Tick the assumptions. Next. And next. And now you can see here there's a resubmit referral button which you should use. So click on resubmit referral, and I'm typing in another message here saying that I've just changed the building sums insured to 350,000. Please change status to accepted, obviously as long as RSA is accepting that particular amount. So click submit. So now if we go back over to the RSA side of things, so now back on the RSA side of things, you can actually see if they look up the actual quote, they can see applied tester, and then the status has now been changed to resubmit it, which is what they want. So the idea is they will look over the risk information and obviously look at the notes, change BSI to 350, please change status to accepted. So once they're happy with everything, they can change the status to approved and then finally submit. And this changes the status to approved. And then if we go back over to the broker side and log back in and retrieve the latest status, you'll see now that the status has been changed to approved, and now we can finally accept the policy. So to proceed, you just click accept and put it on cover as normal. So just a final point to make just about these submissions. If you have carried out a submission in the full cycle renewal system, Once you've actually done that, the status will change to a referral submission pending or something to that effect. And what you can do then is you can keep an eye on this by clicking on View Policy, and that will open the risk screen and you'll be able to see the current status here, and you'll be able to re-access the portal by clicking on the button here. So that concludes this video on the RSA Submission Portal.